Da-na-na. Yo, we live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Forever a White Belt. I am your host, Naughty Nate. Before we get started with tonight's episode, I'd like to thank our sponsor of tonight's episode, Gutterman Service or Gutterman Supply. So sorry, Gutterman Supply. They're located out of Portland, Oregon. Big thank you to Old School. He helps a lot out at the gym that I coach at, Columbia River Jiu Jitsu. He asked, if we can, mention the business that he works for, and that's what we're doing, man. So if you need any, gutter repair or any kind of like rainwear, that's the place to go to. And get ready, guys. Fall is just around the corner, so make sure that you check out Gutterman Supply. Again, located out of Portland, Oregon. I'll drop their info in the comments or in the description below. All right. Now that that's over, I got with me tonight a very special guest, the legend himself, Viking Warrior, man. Welcome to the show, bro. It's
Thank
for
you. Thank you.
Hell yeah, man. I've been since I started podcasting, we've been talking about getting you on the show. It's been on me kind of holding off because I kind of wanted like, a more of a setup. Early on I was just kind of like not even doing any kind of streaming. So I was like, bro, let me get it a little bit set up because I wanted people to see a good show because you're such a inspiring figure over at the scrapyard, man. So yeah, tell us, bro, give us a little bit for the people that don't know you. uh Introduce yourself a little bit and give us a little bit about your fighting background.
All right. If you don't know, I'm Viking Warrior. I was a 185 kickboxing and boxing champion at the Streetbeefs Scrapyard in Gig Harbor, Washington, and also the 170-pound MMA champ. And after that, I turned pro and I went 1-1. Well, one win, and then my second win I lost because I broke my hand in my third round of the bout. So it was unfortunate circumstance, but I'm bouncing back and I feel stronger than ever, and I just can't wait to you know go through the healing process so I can get back into it.
Man, and that was so disheartening when I heard about you breaking your hand, man. I was supposed to be at that match that night. I ended up actually getting injured myself. I had a herniated disc. I couldn't even walk or I would have been there that night. So when I heard about it, I was like, "Bro, no." No, but we know you're a longtime veteran in doing this, bro. So injuries happen, right? It's just part of the game. It's the name of the game. You have quite a bit of matches underneath you. But let's start at the beginning, bro. How'd you first start getting into combat sports?
Well, I started at 21 years old. I met a promoter, and he was like, "Hey, you want to fight tomorrow night? I give you 150 bucks." I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll be there." And I got set up. It was an MMA fight, and I had to fight a dude that was 10-0, had two amateur titles already, had his own fans and everything. And I had to fight that
Well,
guy.
I think
I
we're
came in
breaking up a
swinging,
little bit.
and I
There
got
we go.
taken down. Can
We're breaking up just a little bit.
you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. There we go. So you got set up by this promoter. He was gonna pay you 150 bucks just to show up and fight this guy. You
Yeah.
didn't know it was an MMA match. You didn't have any prior training. He just like, hey, show up. I need someone to fight, and you jumped in.
Yes,
That,
sir. That's what happened.
whoo, bro, you are a freaking Viking, bro. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So I got choked out in 45 seconds. And then
That'll
after
happen.
that, I actually fell in love with it. I fell, uh, I fell in love with it afterwards. And I went 3-7 in my first 10 MMA fights that I trained myself without going to a gym or anything. I trained at a local YMCA. And I went 3-7. And after that, I went to a local gym and then I finished my MMA career at 8 and 13, and
Dang.
it was,
What a
it
turnaround
was a
that
good
gym made,
feeling.
bro.
Definitely,
Gosh.
definitely.
What was it like early on that kept you? I mean, it's tough when you're starting out as a in combat sports and you kind of get off to a rough start. I mean, some people they get turned off from their, from the very first loss. And me personally, I always
Yeah,
think you're not a fighter until you learn how to overcome that first loss. But you went, 3-10. You kept on coming back. So what was that driving force for you? They kept bringing you back to come and get in there and essentially get your ass kicked a little bit.
yeah, because it's honestly something that I guess I always wanted to do, but never was given an opportunity. So when I had the opportunity, I just definitely just went all in, you know,
Mhm.
and it was worth it, man. It was all good. I had a great experience. I met Vanderlei Silva and Keith Jardine in
Hell
Tennessee.
yeah.
And that was my second win. I knocked it out in the second round, and they Keith Jardine was holding my mitts, and Vanderlei Silva gave me fight of the night. So it was a great experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
you
I
get some kind of props like that, man. Yeah, you're in it for life now. Like
yeah, when they did, I met Nate Diaz, and they was all like promote me like him, like a mini him. They were like, "Oh, hey Nate, this dude just fight just like you, man." You know, he was like, "Hey man, you need to work on your jujitsu." That's all he would tell me, because I got choked out in that fight too. So
yeah.
he let me know I need to work on my jujitsu ASAP,
Well, that's some
which I
solid
never
advice
really
from
did.
one of the pros.
Yeah, it was dope.
That's awesome, bro. So
But
what
I was
brought you
young and
to
hard,
the
you know.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was young and hard headed at the time, you know. Like you said earlier, you had to learn, I had to learn from my losses and from my victories to become a champion. You know, you have to think like a champion to become a champion. And once you become a champion, you have to live it, you have to become, who you say you are. And then that's by living up to your own standards. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
I think that's some excellent advice. I mean, it all starts like you said is imagining that this is who I want to be. And then you make those gradual steps along the way to becoming that person. No matter how rough the road is, man, if you have that image in your head that this is the man I'm going to be, every day you strive to be there, you're a little bit closer to that. I think you're a wonderful example of that, bro. I mean, you went from, like you said, 3-10 to joining a gym, then you went 8-13 to then finding the scrapyard where correct me if I'm wrong, but last time I looked up your record, it was 25-1. So what a turnaround, bro.
26-1. I finished at 26-1.
26-1. My apologies, but 26-1,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Dang. I mean, that's quite the turnaround where you found that success and everything. But how'd you find the scrapyard? What brought you to that?
So I was doing amateur boxing, and I was a three-time Golden Glove champion in that. And then I was on my way to Golden Gloves in Vegas, and then COVID hit, so everything got canceled.
Mhm.
And then I was actually at a gym training, and I met Arm Hammer, and there was right after he started going viral for the fight versus True Grit.
Yeah, that quick knockout,
And,
right?
oh yeah, head kick. It was filthy.
Yeah, it was.
So anyway, I met him, and I saw everybody started telling me like he was talking about his fights. So everybody started talking about the scrapyard, and he basically introduced me to the scrapyard and told me hit up Steve, and then went from there. And I actually told Jeremiah Jay got him to hit up Steve first because he had less experience. So I knew that Steve was starting out, so he didn't really want more experienced guys. He wanted some guys that, you know what I mean, that was about it, but
Mhm.
didn't have a lot of experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, Jay got him, went first, and he had a dope boxing match versus Castro, and he ended up winning that. So then the next one, he was like, I want to do MMA. And I was like, okay, well, let's reach out to Steve and see if he'll let me fight. And I actually had to pick out my opponent, which was somebody that I fought in amateurs for kickboxing.
Mhm.
And his name is Tyler the Destroyer. And we went to war for my first
Yeah, you
boxing
guys
match.
did. Yeah, I was gonna
It
say I
was
watched
really
that
good.
match earlier. Hell
Yeah,
of
it
a
was a
match.
really good. Yeah, so that opened me up for the scrapyard. After that, I was all in, and me and Jay Goddard, we really put our all into, bettering ourselves and doing more for the community. Knowing that, YouTube is a big watch program that a lot of people, pay attention to. So we knew that we had to be role models, but at the same time, be true to ourselves. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we
Yeah.
was glad that I was able to let us do that. You know.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because over at the scrapyard, a lot of fighters there they look up to you as a role model. I'm I find it impressive, bro. Like, I mean, I'm coming into the scrapyard now. I think I've been there for just about a year, a little over a year. Right when I got there, everybody was like, "Viking Warrior, man, he's the man. He's the man." And I had a misconception on what the organization was prior to me going there. I thought it was going to be like some backyard, betting on the side, some ghetto shit like that, but it really wasn't. It's a beautiful community. People are going there to not just gain exposure, but gain experience and meet like-minded individuals and make these connections. And you're like a focal point to that. Like I said, a lot of the competitors coming in, even though you're at a high level, you still go up and you greet people. You're willing to corner guys. You're giving guys advice there. Uh, how important is it to you to maintain that role?
Well, honestly, man, it does give me a lot of gratitude. Like I definitely love it and appreciate it, and I show love to everybody because at the end of the day, I look up to anybody. Anybody that looks up to me, I look up to them back. I always try to see what I can learn from other people or what other people can, provide for me. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
you're one of them, man. I'll never forget the first time I met you was when at the scrapyard I was refing your fight versus Dre, and I
Mhm.
didn't know nothing about you. I thought that fight was hella dope, man. You guys were back and forth. You guys both got standing 8 counts. I was trying to do my best to be the best professional I can be. You know what I'm saying? And rep it
You did wonderful,
honestly,
bro.
yeah, without picking favorites. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
at the end of the day, you know, I think Dre came out on top, but you definitely showed your name that from that point on. And I was like, okay, this guy is something to look at. And
Well, I appreciate
ever since
that.
then, ever since then, I always showed you love because I always knew what type of part. Like we both had the same type of energy. We're here to showcase, but at the same time, we're here to give knowledge and to help others grow as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I felt that same energy from you.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I mean, like I said, I'm a coach now, so falling into some like that mentor kind of role, it comes along with the job. So meeting another individual that kind of takes on that responsibility of other fighters and is willing to help guide them and actually not just there's some you've been around the sport a while, you know that you can get connected to the wrong people. And there's some guys out there that they're going to use you, bro. They're going to use your talents. They're going to use your body. They're going to whatever, for their own gains. So it's rare to
Yeah,
find these individuals that actually care about you somewhat, that actually want you to progress and want you to succeed in this. And I think you're genuinely one of those individuals that when you see a young fighter out there and you see the potential that this guy has, you get excited about it, man. You get kind of like, man, that guy has it a little bit. If he just does a little bit of this or a little bit of that, he's gonna be next level.
yeah,
Do you think I don't know. I think you might I don't know if you can separate the fighter from the father. Because I know you're a real family man. That's one of the things I've always loved about you too. You got like a billion kids. You're a family man. You're all about it. I follow you on social media, so I know you're always doing something with the kids. You're always doing something with the wife. Man, I think that that's one of the things that people don't really know about you that maybe they should. That this guy right here is top notch dad, bro. Like above being a fighter, you're an amazing father, and that's one of the things I really do appreciate about you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. My kids come first, man. And like you said, when it comes down to coaching and stuff, like I've been coaching for a long time, over 10 years, when it comes to football, combat sports, other type of sports, whatever, and personal training as well. So I understand that aspect to where your mind always goes to helping. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Regardless if it's, youth or adults. When I'm at the gym and I see an elderly or even a regular person, and they're doing something wrong or they're just not like not getting the most out of their workouts, I always want to just walk over and be like, hey, but that would make me, look like an asshole at the same time. So I always try to pick my moments, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But there's times where I do that at the gym where I'm like, hey, maybe this advice might help you, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like
And
I'm not trying to
I don't
come off
think there's
as
anything
a
wrong with that, bro. I mean, I like I said, even guys that have been doing this for a while, bro. The reason why my show is forever a white belt, or one of the reasons, is because I can maintain that mentality. You can learn something from anybody. I don't claim
fact
to know it all. Martial arts is very vast. Different body types have different styles, different abilities.
and
You can
different
learn it.
attitudes. Yeah,
Yeah, mentalities play a big factor. I mean, I know some fighters that they just want to sit back and counter punch all day, and that's their game. Like they're very tactical about it, where they're always finding that opening. And then there's some fighters they want to put that heat on you. They want to come out and they want to put that pressure, sit there and exchange, and they're looking to brawl. That's a mentality thing, bro. That'll really dictate a style. You know,
yeah.
I got another question for you. Going from the scrapyard being 26-1 to then taking things to the next level and going pro, what motivated you to make that decision?
Well, it started with the scrapyard. Like we had plans to go to UK to go
Mhm.
fight over there.
I
So
remember that.
So I had some time to really focus and get my mind and body mentally ready to compete at a good level because I think we was planning on doing 5 3-minute rounds.
Hmm.
So I was already planning to train at a high level, like a pro level, because my first pro fights was 4 3-minute rounds. So I already had it in that mind frame to where it's like, okay, I have to do 5 3-minute rounds. I need to train like a professional at all times. I need to conduct myself like a professional, everything. You know what I'm saying? So once I turned that switch on and I started going, like I didn't want to turn it off. And then, we got terrible news saying that the UK invasion wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So with that trigger already on, and I didn't want to turn it off, I was like looking for different avenues where I could, you know, probably make some money or try to, push my career in some type of way to where, it'd be something that be worth my time and my energy. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So at the end of the day, fighting professional came to play because I have a matchmaker that I know for a long time that was a matchmaker for me for amateurs as well.
Uh-huh.
So he gave me a contract for fighting. Can you
Oh, you're
give me a
breaking up a
two
little
fight
bit.
contract for Arena Wars?
There we go. There we
Mhm.
go. I can hear you now. Yeah.
So anyway, so he put me on to a 2 fight contract for Arena Wars, and the first one went well, but I did throw a stupid punch that kind of hurt my thumb. That I
Mhm.
regret throwing the punch, but I threw it, so I hurt my thumb. And then training for the second fight, which was only 20 something days away, I didn't have enough time to really, baby my thumb at the same time, stay continuous on my training camp. So I had a very tough opponent, which was a national champion, and he was 1-0 at the time. And after we competed and I put my hand in the third round, he moved on and fought 4 other fights since then. He's 5-0 now, well, 3 other fights, and he's 5-0 now. He basically took the direction that I was going. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah,
we
that
fought,
happens.
and that's how it goes. And it kind of like pissed me off a little bit, but I understand that injuries is part of the sport, like you said in the beginning. Even though I never suffered any type of these injuries before, and I haven't had no problem with my hands at all, but
Mhm.
you know everything happens for a reason. So I have to take it for what it is, and be patient and just
Yeah, this is part of the real fight, can I be patient? Am I mentally do I have the mental fortitude to get me through this fight, this injury fight? It's interesting that you brought up kind of like your circumstances, because my circumstances when it comes to MMA kind of played out a little bit somewhat the same. I my last MMA fight on the circuit was a super fight against an individual that I fought prior to that. We went all 3 rounds. We got fight of the night. He ended up uh, edging me out by like one point, a takedown. So then we ended up doing a super fight. Um, it was like 5 6 months later. He didn't want to do the super fight. And then he came back like within, I think it was like within like 4 or 5 weeks of the event, and was like, I'll take the fight, but we're not gonna fight at heavyweight. We're gonna fight at 205. And at the time I was like 230, 235. So I had to like 4 weeks to lose the weight and get there. But I was like, whatever, we'll do it. We ended up going out there. I ended up losing in the second round. They claimed that I got a there was a flash knockout that happened. I didn't see it. I have the video if anybody wants to check it out. Um, Come to find out, the referee, he's also like one of his coaches at one point. All that
uh,
crap, blah blah blah. He ends up winning the super fight. He gets the title shot to go become the champion of the organization. He then goes from takes that, and then he goes and becomes a pro fighter, and now he's in the Bellator scene. And I'm like, that's the direction that I wanted to go from that,
yeah.
like the trajectory I was looking at, man. That's I was like, dang. But that sometimes I think Dave Chappelle said it best. Sometimes you got to know when you're living your dream and when you're part of somebody else's dream. And looking back on it all now, this was a good 10 12 years ago, man. And if I would end up going that route, there's no saying that I wouldn't have went that far. You know what I mean? Like, things play out the way they're gonna play out, like you said, for a reason. And I wouldn't trade my life that I have now for any other life, any other like dimension, man. I'm very content. I'm very happy with the community I'm around, with my fiance, with the life that I have. So like we're saying, man, sometimes things happen for a reason. But having said that, I mean, you still got a lot of fight in you, bro. I mean, like I said, this is just a little bump in the road for you to get to that next step. And speaking of that next step, what does that look like for you, man? Like, what is it we're trying to do with this pro career? What is the end goals?
Well, shit, I'm a all around martial artist, so I'm not just a boxer. And people look at me as just a boxer because I feel like I focused on boxing for more more of my career, probably like 7 years of my 15 years of career. I
Mhm.
focused strictly on boxing, so it shows a little more, but I'm a kickboxer, Muay Thai, MMA fighter. I started with MMA, so I like all those things. But I started with injuries first. But besides the injuries, we're not gonna talk about the injuries. But I really want to fight kickboxing or do bare knuckle. Like I've been wanting to do bare knuckle. I was gonna do that. After a couple boxing matches, but the hand ended up breaking. So if I
Mhm.
can get the hand all great, I definitely want to do bare knuckle because I just feel like I would excel in bare knuckle because I'm really good at seeing punches and I like the one hand clinch. If you see a lot of my scrapyard fights, you see I'm real good at the one hand clinch. One hand clinch, uppercuts is everything. I'm just real good at the one hand clinch.
A
So
bit of
I
a
feel like
hockey player, man. Got that hockey player stuff going.
I just grew up an MMA brawler, like a
Uh-huh.
brawler type. So that overhand clinch is there when you throw it. Clinch easy. Fuck.
Yeah, that's there all day. Did I lose you? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Yeah, one more time, guys. If you can check out Gutterman Supply, located out of Portland, Oregon. Again, they have all the great rainwear. So if your gutters need any kind of cleaning, if they need any kind of repair, those are the guys you want to reach out to. I'm gonna see if I can't get Viking Warrior back on here. Where you at, Viking? Dun-dun-dun. Little technical difficulties. We know how these things are, man. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Well, one more time. No. See if we can't get him back. Well, thank you for hanging out with me, guys, for a second here. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun. We're gonna give it just another 30 seconds or so, and if I can't get him back, guys, we'll have to reconvene this interview at a later date, because I'd really love to get on Viking Warrior on here and tell us his story. Like I said, he's a scrapyard legend, man. 26-1, only one loss, and it was by decision. Check out a lot of his matches at the Streetbeefs Scrapyard YouTube channel. Not only is he a competitor over there at Scrapyard, but he also helps do quite a bit of the reffing. He's highly involved in it all. Yeah, and he's been there for a while. So yeah, I think I might have lost him, guys. Well, it was doing well up until that point. But hey, these things happen, man. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get Viking Warrior back with us again at a later date. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys all next time. Take it easy. We live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Forever a White Belt. This is episode 2 of the Viking Odyssey. If you missed last week's episode, we had a little bit of technical difficulties, so we're kicking off part 2 this week. And yeah, welcome to the show, Viking. Thanks for taking the time today to join me, bro.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you having me and
Heck
giving me a
yeah.
second opportunity.
Oh,
Appreciate
hey,
it.
the pleasure is mine, brother. I heard that you got some good news today.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, it was yesterday, but
It was
hey,
yesterday.
it's good
That's right.
news. It's all
Hell
good
yeah.
news. My hand got cleared from actually two different hand uh, doctors or specialists, orthopedic surgeons. That's what you
Uh-huh.
can call them. Yeah. So honestly, I'm getting back in shape, getting ready to kick some ass soon. You know,
I
that's my
love
mind
it,
frame.
bro. Do we have like a date for anything? Or do you have like a timeline? Or are we just kind of waiting to
We're
see what
looking.
events pop up?
It's October, November. That's what we're looking for. We're not. I'm not trying to jump it right now. I'm just gonna want to focus on building myself and get stronger and get more healthier. And at the same time, I got my kids doing their thing, so I'm focused on them. You know.
Yeah, always the family man, bro. I love that, man.
Uh,
Yeah,
Thank you.
it sounds like you're with them right now.
Yeah, I'm at the park,
Hell
but it's
yeah.
the best place to do a podcast, I think.
I think so too. Great background, nice and chill. Hell
You know
yeah,
it.
bro. Uh so how do you we kicked off the last or we stopped the last podcast. You're telling us how you kind of got into the scrapyard. You explained a little bit about how you kind of had a rough start in the MMA world, going 3-10, and then joining a gym, and then turning that around and finishing the MMA career going 8-13. Which again, super impressive. What a gym can do when you're around the right people. Iron sharpens iron.
Right.
And then you made your way to the scrapyard. You were explaining how you heard about that.
Yeah. So I originally heard about it from Armor Hammer, which he's a original scrapyard again. You know what I'm saying? Scrapyard
Shout out
fighter.
Armin. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Armor. And he actually had a viral knockout against True Grit that everybody was talking about in the gym, and he happened to be in the gym at that day. And yeah, he introduced me, you know what I'm saying, to the scrapyard basically, and went from there. He told me where to go, led me to the right direction, and originally set up Jay Gotham, and then he had a dope ass fight against Castro, and then after that, it was my turn to showcase, and that's when he had the viral knockout against Milkman that went crazy viral. And then boom, I got to showcase my boxing skills at the same event, and it was pretty dope. And then it was magic after that.
Hell yeah. No, what were some of those early days like, man? I mean, the scrapyard's grown like tremendously from where it was to where it is now. I mean, now we're having like celebrities coming out to the yard. But early on, it was like 4 posts and like a couple ropes, right?
So Jay Gotham got the fight with the 4 posts. You know what I'm saying? His first fight.
Hey.
So my first fight, that's when the first ring. You know what I'm saying? The first fight's for the ring. So I was lucky enough to be, able to fight on a good ring, for my first time. So it was a dope experience. But yeah, I definitely wanted to try out the 4 posts.
That would have been cool. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you're still considered one of the OGs, man. I mean, you got in
Oh
on the
yeah.
ground floor, prior to the scrapyard really blowing up. I mean, Street Beast has always kind of had a name. They've had a name for a while, but the scrapyard is another branch of that. So you guys are like, the founding fathers of it. And it's kind of been, elevated through your guys' skill set and what you guys have been able to do in the ring. I
Yeah,
think that's
man.
highly impressive, bro.
Shout out Crazy Legs and Lights Out, because they actually started the same event that I started, and look at them still going. Lights Out got the record, got like 70 fucking
Bro,
fights,
right?
close to it.
Oh
Right,
my
and
gosh.
we started at the same time, so it just looks how much he blossomed, and how much he's been doing, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love
What's
seeing
your
both
thoughts
those guys
on
grow.
Lights Out going pro? You think it's about
Uh,
time?
no, he ain't ready yet.
Not yet. He needs to have
Uh,
100 fights and then go or
Yeah,
what?
because he don't train like that. His training is fighting, basically. He stays ready. I love that about him, but it's not like he trains like that. He probably spars his buddies every day, but that's about it. Like that's
Yeah.
not going against top notch fighters. That's or top notch coaches that's gonna push you and drive you to be better. And that's the only thing about him. He chooses not to, put himself in those type of environments consistently. He does it, but he doesn't do it consistently. Like he learns something, and then he keeps it pushing.
Yeah. And
Which,
how
you
important
know,
is it to stay consistent if you want to make, a living out of this? If you really want to get to that pro level, bro. I mean, I tell my guys this all the time, consistency over everything. And you got to train smart, and you can't just go in there and bang every day, right? You got to
yeah.
isolate techniques. You got to really focus on the holes in your game. When did you kind of learn that?
I would say I hurt my knee. Um, in my That's what stopped my MMA career. I tore my meniscus. So after that,
That'll do
I
it.
ended up, going into some other business ventures, and I ended up opening up my own gym, which I started my own fight team which was
Mhm.
Team Bang Bang, which I originally went to Street Beefs, repping Team Bang Bang before I got put on the Team Peixoto. But Team Bang Bang was, a team that I put together between, me and my homeboys basically, and we didn't do too bad. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And when I did that, I started learning that I had to be more than a fighter and be, more disciplined and more, caring about, what I'm doing and everybody that's around me. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like that's when I really started waking up and seeing that I have a future in this career. I mean, a career or a future in this sport if I make it happen for myself. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Ain't nobody around me trying to help me if I'm not trying to help myself. You know?
That's true. That's 100% right there, bro. I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, most like serious coaches, most like serious teams, you're gonna have to show up every day and earn your spot. You know what I mean? And that's by being consistent, being a leader out there. I think you know, I mean, well, let me get your opinion. Do you think kind of being a father kind of runs hand in hand with kind of being a coach sometimes, especially when you take on the responsibility of some of your students, and you have to kind of lead by example. So I think that forces you to elevate you yourself as a martial artist. I actually learned that same lesson. I noticed, like, when I was going through my own independent career, I was kind of like, I'd have days where it's like, it's okay to take a time off, man. I mean, I'm not feeling it today or whatever. You can convince yourself of anything, but when I have guys relying on me and I'm trying to help them achieve their goals too, it really forces me to have to tighten up my shit. So it
Yeah.
really, I see that. I understand what you mean by becoming a coach helped elevate you to being a better martial artist. That's awesome, bro. I mean, not many people get that experience.
No, you're absolutely right. And then my second experience was at TFW. I was able to coach the kids. I had a young combat class that I trained a handful of kids, probably like 5 to 6 kids, and we also had a TFW team that we uh, all competed at the scrapyard, and other events. So I was like you said, I was looked at as a role model and somebody that everybody wanted to push themselves to not be like me, but to compete as hard as I competed. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Because I feel like at TFW I wanted to compete to my best ability. At the same time, I wanted to push myself to pro level because when I first started the scrapyard, I wanted to turn pro after 10 consecutive wins, you know.
Hmm.
And after I accomplished that, I felt like I wasn't really ready. I still was timid at times. I wasn't totally confident within myself. And that's what I mean by ready. It's like 100% confident with my abilities, and I'm not going to let nobody or nothing tell me that I can't accomplish what the fuck I want to accomplish.
Hmm.
Before that time, that's why I needed the scrapyard to get to that point, because before that time, I might have had the abilities, but it was always off and on. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I wasn't totally confident within myself, and certain situations would take me out of my comfort zone to where I wouldn't perform the way I needed to perform. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
To get the dub. So
yeah. And
anyway,
combat sports is all about dominance. When you're going in there, you're going in there to ensue your will on another individual. And in order to do that, like you said, you got to have that level of confidence that you're going to be able to make it out of there. And training correctly and training consistently, that's where you gain that confidence because you've been in those situations so many times in the gym that you're like, hey, this is another day at work. I'm used to this. I'm comfortable in this. And when you get comfortable in those situations, that's when you get that real confidence. So I think you're 100%, like I said, and how important it is to train correctly and be in the right atmosphere and doing that because there is levels to this game. And I
yeah,
I think that the fact that you're such a role model at the scrapyard these guys can really take this lesson. Even what you're saying right now, I hope they take it to heart, because we have a lot of scrapyard competitors that have this vision to go pro, but like anybody, when you start out, you're a bit delusional in the process. You know, you have to learn the process and what it takes to get to that level. And if you're not training around the right people, you're not doing the right things, you're not doing it correctly, and you're not doing it consistently, you'll never reach those levels. So I think you're a great example to show these guys, like, hey, even me, a guy that's coming out here, and you know, I'm 26-1, and I'm a legend out here. Even me, I have to go and train at the right gyms and be around the right people, you know, in order to get to that next stage in this. So I think that's awesome, bro.
And I think what really deciphers a pro and an amateur is the mind frame of taking that whole hour session of busting your ass, that whole hour of practice, and applying it for those 12 to 30 minutes that you're doing in a fight. You know what I'm saying? Depends on how many rounds you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. But you have to look at it to where that's what makes a professional different than an amateur, because the amateur, they don't really know how to apply that hour of training to those 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. We'll just say 15 minutes, because most fights is 15 or less. So we'll say 15 minutes, right? And what I mean by that is, you see how hard you go in training, you're doing all this, you're switching, boom, for a whole hour, you're doing all this shit, right? And then in a fight, you only fight for 15 fucking minutes. So really, if you look at it, it's all about learning how to explode and control the explosion. Mm-hmm. Explode, control the explosion. And that's why, like, I tell everybody I'm a reactor, because I can't really tell you what I'm gonna do, but I know I put myself through these predicaments. Like you said, you put yourself through things, so when it comes to the battle, everything is easier, you know. And it's like I put myself in these predicaments to where my body can just naturally react. You know what I'm saying? And I have the belief in myself that I'm gonna react the right way. And when I don't, then that's when, you know, I can accept it and I can tell people, hey, you know, it is what it is. But
so you learn those lessons. Yeah.
And that's what training is about, you know. So when you do get put in those tests, your body will be able to react in an appropriate manner, you know. So there's nothing to worry about. And that's why you train for stamina, because when your body reacts, you're gonna have to have energy within yourself to withstand whatever, you know, task is ahead of you. And that's the reason we do the stuff.
Yeah. What would you say the cardio? You got to take care of something? I hear a little whining. They okay?
Why are you crying? What happened? You crying about your nuts? Go sit down, please.
Oh, it's a dad. There we go. Oh, that's hilarious.
I handle that.
Yeah, there you go.
Done something bad, you know.
Yeah, I love it, man.
You got hit in the nuts. Just go sit your ass down.
Hey, that is bad, bro. That is bad. Come on.
It's bad when you don't know how to, you know, shake it off and breathe about it. You know, don't let it get to you. At the end of the day,
I still haven't learned that lesson, man. I'll cry about it all day. I'm a big baby.
That's why I love fighting, because fighting only gives you 5 minutes to shake that shit off. You know, it's like, yo, you either shake it off and fight, or you're gonna, you know, because everybody, hey, you know how fighters are. We look at motherfucker that quit alpha nut shot like you're a pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like you just look for a way out. So at the end of the day, fighting makes you tougher when it comes to those nut shots. You know. And nobody wants to be looked at as a pussy. Bro.
Yeah, that mental toughness right there. Like, what would you say the big difference is with the cardio from the amateurs to the pros? What's that like?
So I tell everybody, when you're doing amateur, you have to get at least 5 miles. You know what I'm saying, in a week when it comes to cardio, running, just straight running, right? And then when you're pro, you have to do 5 to 10. That's low. That's low pro. You know. But once you get up to the 8 rounds, 12, you have to do up to 20 miles, you know, a week. And that's just consistent work.
Do you add any sprints into your runs?
Yeah, of course. You have speed days. You know what I'm saying? It's all about, how your body's feeling from the other workouts. But once you're in training camp, it's three times a day. You have to stay focused and disciplined and make sure
Mhm.
you do three times a day of training, you know?
Mhm.
Because if you're not, then you're not really, you know,
Somebody
push
else is.
conditioning. Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody else
That
is, and you're
opponent
not
is,
conditioning
bro.
your body. Yeah, you're not
Mhm.
conditioning your body to the best ability that you could do it.
Mhm.
You know,
How do you find the balance, man? I mean, like I said, being a dad and full-time dad, working, I'm sure all these things. How do you find the balance between home life, training? That fight life is tough.
so it's about balance, like I said, and being consistent. So I wake up in the morning. I have to do my morning workouts. Then I let the dogs out, do all that, get ready for the day. Then after that, I go to work. Then when I come home, I have to do a workout. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then before bed, do another workout. Boom. That's my day. And then if I do training and a thing, then I try to do it in between those times. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? My 3 times a day.
Gosh, dang. It's funny because like I said, I know a lot of individuals out there that claim they want to be like pro. They want to do that stuff. But then you look at it like what it takes. It's kind of like like I said, a tough lifestyle, and it's kind of like you're doing the same thing every single day because you can't miss a workout. And you end up sacrificing time like birthdays sometimes, kids events, especially if you have a fight camp and you got a fight coming up. Like you really gotta focus on that training aspect. So I'm sure that gets tough at times. What kind of advice would you give that individual or that young fighter that doesn't know how to manage that yet?
Man, honestly, it's all about turning fighting into a way of life. You have to make it a lifestyle. If you don't turn it into a lifestyle, you're not gonna get all that you can out of it. You know what I'm saying? And look, injuries has always slowed me down in my career, but I
Mhm.
know that I am controlling my own destiny, and if I keep listening to people, I won't accomplish what the fuck I want to accomplish. And
Yeah.
listen to people, and injuries has slowed me down in my career, but honestly, I'm still pushing, and I'm not gonna quit until I get to where I need to go, or I achieve the knowledge that I want to achieve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. A
Because
true
I'm
warrior,
learning. I'm
man.
learning on the way. Yeah, I'm learning from everybody. I'm soaking it up like a sponge.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah,
love it.
you're leading by example. Like I said, there's a lot of guys that look up to you at the scrapyard, and they can come to you. That's also what I love about your personality is that you're very approachable. They can come to you and ask for advice, and you're always willing to. You have that coaching mentality, so you're always willing to help out. That right there is a real sentimental thing for me. So I appreciate you doing that. I'm gonna give you a couple quick questions, and then we're gonna let you go because I know you got some stuff going on. Where did Viking Warrior come from? The
So
name.
I grew up in So I'll tell you about me first. I grew up in
Okay.
East Hartford, Connecticut. You know what I'm saying? And it was a great community. I grew up around a lot of Black and Puerto Rican different, cultures, and it taught me a lot about respecting everybody for who they are. Everybody has something to bring to the table, and everybody has something that you can learn from. And I appreciate East Hartford, Connecticut for teaching me that. And I moved to the country when I was 15 to where I was 18, and then the country taught me a lot too, and I got to see a different type of lifestyle, and it made me appreciate the earth a lot more. We had to cut wood every
Mm-hmm.
summer. Every summer for the
Yeah.
2 years, 3 years I was there, we had to cut wood every
Make you
summer for the
strong,
winter.
bro. Yeah.
Yeah, and we had a wood stove and a fireplace, and that's all we had for the heat. We had a big ass house we was living in, so we had to cut a lot of fucking wood, but it was worth it though. We got to appreciate it when we got to stay fucking warm during the winter. You know what I'm saying?
That stuff will make you appreciate it. It'll make you cutting wood will make you appreciate heat so much more.
And it teaches you about your body. You know what I'm saying? What your
Mhm.
body capable of pushing it. You know what I'm saying? When you want to quit, you know, just like, oh, I only got one quart left. Fuck it. I'm
Mhm.
not quitting. Bye, bye, bye. And I'm chopping, splitting, getting this shit thrown down to the pile. I'm doing it consistent. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not going to stop until I'm fucking done. And then I applied the same mind frame to fighting.
There you
It's
go.
like when I'm training, I'm trying to push myself to my limit. So I know that later on can learn how to apply it to the fight, in some type of way.
Yeah. Love it. So, where did the name? How did you come up with the name?
So my grandfather is from Gluckland,
Oh wow.
Swedish heritage. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I feel like I'm a warrior. My uncle actually grew up, playing Fantasy Quest and, dressing up with chainmail and stuff. Like he make his own chainmail outfits and he got long
Like
hair.
a black
He
man.
naturally
There
looked
you
like a
go.
Viking. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a sword guy. Always got the big swords, and he loves Thor and everything.
Mhm.
So anyway, I was like, you know what? It suits me, and I had the big beard at the time, so
I remember
I
that.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked like a badass Viking, and I was like, you know what? Uh, that's gonna be my name. So it's gonna be that or Triple T, and because my coach called me terrible, tough, and terrific, and that suits me perfect because that's my fighting style.
That's a good name
Sometimes
too. Yeah.
I'm terrible. Sometimes I'm terrific, and I'm always tough. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
it. Yeah.
it is what it is.
Hey,
But
I'm
I
right
just
there
went with
with you.
Viking Warrior.
I
Yeah,
love it, man.
start.
I mean, the name fits you well because, like I said, one of the things that made me really know that that name was your name was that time that you had that boxing match. It might have been one of your last matches when Friday Night Fades came through and you boxed
Okay.
that dude. Remember it? I
Yeah,
helped
you
warm
helped me
you up.
out, bro. You cornered
Yeah.
me, man.
No,
You
no, I
helped me
just
out,
helped
helped me
warm
warm
you up
up.
a little bit. That was it. But what I remember most about it, you had a cold, you were sick, and you were barely able to breathe. And I was like, bro, you're going
No, I
out there.
had broken ribs, bro.
Is
I
that
had
what it
broken
was?
ribs. So I had two ribs that was broken on my left side. That happened so for 2 weeks prior training before my fight in Vegas. So I had a fight against King from the Street Beefs OG branch in Vegas, and my ribs got broke a couple days before. Like it happened like on a Thursday. I had to
Damn.
fly out on Friday, fought on Saturday. You know what I'm
See,
saying?
I thought it was
So
just a
anyway,
cold. I was like, he's going in there with a fucking cold. He can
no
barely
hell no.
breathe. Oh
My
man.
broken ribs, bro. So at the end of the day, I won that fight in Vegas, and then I fucking went a week later and fought at the scrapyard and won that fucking fight.
Yeah, you
And
pieced him up.
but I was being smart because I was trying to
Yeah.
protect my fucking ribs.
You were. I mean, I was kind of sitting there. I was like, "Yeah, he's playing real defensive." But I mean, that's what we were kind of talking about prior to the match too, because you had the reach on him. So I'm like, "Hey, just
Yeah,
keep him out, right?"
facts.
But honestly, bro, I was like, "Man, yeah, that's a Viking right there, man. That's 100% the name fits." One more question. What's your favorite match that you've had so far in the scrapyard?
My favorite match that I
Mhm.
had, probably my fight against Jeremiah. Uh, he's one of Coach White's fighters back in the day. He trained with Malik Ogun.
Okay.
I fought him. We went a 5 rounder. That was a 5 rounder,
I bet
and
that was a war, bro. I
it
gotta check that
was,
one
bro.
out. I'm gonna
Gotta
check that
check that
out.
one
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
He rocked me. I actually got a standing 8 count in the 3rd round, and then
Woo.
I got him
That's
back in the
rare.
4th round and gave him a standing 8 count. So
Mhm.
I ended up winning, in the 5th round. So I ended up getting the fight, but it was a really good fight, bro. Back and forth.
Hell
And
yeah.
it puts me mentally, you know what I'm saying? Because after
Uh-huh.
the standing 8 count, I was rocked a little bit, but I still fought through, and you can see it. Like I was like, I'm not gonna let this shit back me up. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I was like, I'm gonna go hard. So in that 4th round, just went hard, and it showed.
I love it. Well, for all those out there watching, make sure you guys check that match out. We got Viking Warriors. He put the stamp of approval on it. That's his favorite match. So let's check it out. Let's see if we can't make that go viral one more time, guys.
Yeah,
Awesome.
check it out, baby.
Hell yeah. Well, bro,
So,
like I said, we're expecting a couple of match here in the next couple months.
yep,
Um,
I'll let you know.
Heck yeah, let me know because I want to get you back on. Maybe we'll talk about it leading up to the match and see how you're feeling then. All right.
Okay, sounds good, bro.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, thank you again for joining me today. Everybody, Viking Warrior here, legend at the scrapyard, one of the pros now out there kicking ass, representing, man. How can the people
Taking
find you?
names.
Hell yeah.
Check me out on I got a couple Instagram. I got Mr. Underscore Turner 07. And then I have Smoker Weed Fitness. You can check that out. And then Thomas Turner on Facebook. That's what I
All
that's the
right,
only
and
things I do.
I'm gonna make sure I tag him in the video and all that stuff too, so it'll be there. All right. Thanks again, Viking Warrior, for joining me tonight. Enjoy the rest of your night with the kids, bro, and I'll see you soon. All
Thank
right.
you. Appreciate it, bro. You have a blessed one.
All right, you too, bro. Later.
Peace.